friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather, and today we are going to be doing the Birthstones book tag. And I am really excited. I got tagged for this one. Did I get tagged for this one? So this one I saw over on Kelsey's channel, Bookishly Nerdy, and I thought it was just super fun. Basically, we have 12 prompts, one for each of the birthstones throughout the year, and then we're going to just talk about some books that go along with these prompts. So let's go ahead and jump in, but actually really fast. Click subscribe for me because I just want you to join my BookTube family over here. We can chit-chat in the comments. Also, you can find me on Instagram and Goodreads, and those are linked below, so we can chit-chat there as well. So anyways, let's get into January, shall we? So January's birthstone is Garnet, and Garnet is associated with warding off negative forces and dark energies. Well, that sounds kind of nice, right? So it says, name a book with the darkest or most evil character that you can think of. I actually had a little bit of a hard time with this one because I feel like sometimes villains are not as well developed as they could or should be. Like sometimes books really focus more on the hero and what they're doing, but like why, who's the big bad, who are we going after? So anyways, but I did decide to go with Charis the Commandant in An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This is a quartet and I've really enjoyed. I've read the first 3 and I'm hoping to get to the last one soon. I keep trying to get it on my TBRs and then I don't know, I just haven't been reading it. So what is going on there? I don't know. But anyways, in this first one, we are following Laya, and her family is a part of the scholars who are oppressed by the Empire. And her family ends up getting like attacked by all these soldiers, and her grandparents are like killed in front of her, and they kidnap her brother. And so Laya goes to the resistance, and she basically, they say if you infiltrate and you become a maid for the commandant who is in charge of the soldiers like school that trains them, then and you get us some valuable information, we will help you break your brother out of prison. And that's kind of where our story kind of starts. And then we also follow 2 other plot lines. We follow Elias, who is a soldier. He's like the best soldier at the school, and he really kind of doesn't want to be there, and he's trying to get out of there. And then also his best friend, Helene. And so, yeah, it's based on like Roman times, I believe, and I really enjoyed the story. But Charis, she's the commandant at the school, and she is brutal, and if she finds out that you're deceiving her, like sometimes she won't even just kill you, she'll like chop your tongue off or take an eye out, or she is just crazy. She will brand you. Like she's just awful and evil, and I don't even know why. Like we really like, I think that's going to be like, we're building up to learning more about her and learning more about why she became the person she is. And I think it's going to be really good in the last book. So I'm excited to see a little bit more about what is going on there. We've had some other, there's definitely like some other evil people within this, but like, I feel like hers is going to be the deeper, like evil, you know? I don't know. She's just, she's brutal. So for February, we have Amethyst, and amethysts are purple, and purple is associated with royalty. So we are going to name a book with regal qualities. It says you can kind of base this off of the characters, or it can be like the king of all books. For this one, I chose 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I recently read and adored this one. We are following our main character, Shiori, and she is the princess of this kingdom, and she has magical powers, but she keeps them hidden because magic's been outlawed in the kingdom for a long time. Her father does not like magic at all, and so she doesn't tell anybody, and she just kind of keeps it hidden to herself, but she does let it slip accidentally, and her stepmother finds out about it, and her stepmother has some magic of her own and ends up cursing Shiori and her brothers, so she turns all the brothers into cranes, and then Shiori, she tells her, you can't speak a word, and every word that you do speak, one of your brothers is going to die, and she like banishes her out to this like way off place, and she has to like figure out, like, nobody can recognize her, and just figure out how to like save her kingdom and her brothers and herself, and she can't talk at all. I remember thinking, like, during this book, like, my husband would like ask me a question while I was reading it or something, or like want to talk to me about something, and like it would take me a minute to like say something because I'd be like, I can't talk, like there was just this like, I just can't say words right now, it's gonna kill somebody, like I had that feeling, and it was like the weirdest thing ever. But I really, really enjoyed the story, and it was really good. And obviously we have a kingdom, and we're following a princess and a bunch of princes, and Shiori's very like strong-willed, and she wants to do right by her people and her brothers and stuff, so I feel like she's got some regal qualities happening. So March is Aquamarine, and it just says washed out, name a wishy-washy character. So this could be a character that's not strong or is more of like a follower. So for this one, I'm going to talk about the mom that is in Hannah Beast by Jennifer McMahon. Now this is only like a 50-page little novella story, so I'm not going to go super detailed here. I don't want to give too much away. But basically we are following this mom, and she lives in this town where at Halloween they all have this like Hannah Beast costume every year, and it's something to do with the town. And way back when she was a kid was when Hannah Beast became a thing, and she may have, you know, seen some of what kind of created Hannah Beast. So Halloween's just like not her favorite holiday, but she definitely, like, I'm not really gonna say how she's the follower, but she's kind of a follower in a lot of ways with her friends and such. And it's pretty apparent, like, there's like a group of like 4 friends, and she definitely kind of is a little bit more of the follower and tag alonger and that kind of thing. So that's where we're going with that one. But highly recommend that book. It's super fast, and it is super surprising, and I was just like, I really enjoyed it. So April is Diamond, and for Diamond, we've got a diamond in the rough. Name a book that is not well known, but is really good. So for this one, I went with A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This one only has like 10,000 ratings on Goodreads, so that's not a ton, but I really, really enjoyed it. So this is based on like African folklore, and we're following 2 main characters. One is our princess, and she puts on this competition for their big celebration that they have going on, and basically she says whoever wins my hand in marriage. And she really, though, wants to marry this person, and she needs a king's heart, so she essentially wants to marry them so they become a king, and then she can kill them. And so we're following that plot line, but then we also have Malik, I believe it is. He is coming into the city with his 2 siblings, and one of them gets kidnapped by an Ifrit, and they say, well, if you want your sibling back, then you need to kill the princess. So basically, like, he's trying to win this competition to kill her, but she's also trying to have somebody win so she can kill them. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of really interesting, like, talk about how the city was built and what the celebration that they're celebrating was all about and how it came to be. And they really, like, lay the groundwork really well for that. And then I also really enjoy, like, competitions in books, and so this has, like, you know, a few different trials and that kind of thing. It's just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So check it out if you haven't. All right, so for May, we have Emerald, and Emerald is said to balance energies. So we're going to name 2 characters who seem to balance each other out. So for this one, I am choosing Zaph and Danny from Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Really enjoyed this cute romance book, and we're basically following Danny. She is a PhD student, and she teaches at this college, and in the building, one day they have a fire drill, and she gets stuck in the elevator. And then Zaph, he is the security officer at the building, and so he goes in and, like, saves her from the elevator, and he carries her out in his arms, and this video goes viral of him carrying her out of the building, and he kind of says, hey, Danny, do you think that we could fake date so I can use this viral video and just kind of build on it a little bit, because I have a charity and it's really good for it to be able to be seen, and it's about like mental health for young athletes. And so they start fake dating. But why I think they kind of balance each other well is that Zaph is just like, he like reads romance books. He's like a hopeless romantic, and it's super cute. And Danny is just like, I don't do well in relationships. I'm independent. I like to be by myself. I like to just like have sleep around partners and that kind of thing. And so they kind of balance each other out in that way, but they also just like, in a lot of ways, they really like balance each other and talk things out with each other. It's really cute. All right, so now we are on June, and June's birthstone is Pearl. So pearls are associated with loyalty. So we are going to talk about some characters who are loyal to the end. And for this one, I went with Lovely War by Julie Berry. We have James and Hazel in here, and the two of these kids are just super loyal to each other, and their bond, even though like they just get to write letters a lot of times back and forth to each other in the war, really just, you know, affects them and changes them, but they still are very loyal to one another. So Lovely War is about basically we're being told a love story that is set in World War I, but it's being told by Aphrodite as she tells it to her husband Hephaestus and her lover Ares. And it is just really interesting the way it is kind of set up with the Greek gods telling the story and talking about actually a couple of couples during World War I and how war and love and fate kind of all intertwine. So for July, we have a ruby, and rubies are blood red. So we're gonna name a book that made our blood boil. And for this one always comes to mind when I think about getting angry for whatever reason. And it wasn't like angry like I was mad at the book, like it sucked or like something like that, but because I really enjoyed this book, I actually gave it 5 stars. But just like some of the content in there made me so mad, and I was just so irritated. But I know that's like the purpose of what the author was trying to do. So the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This one, like, I was getting so mad at these husbands. Oh my gosh, so mad at them. And then like even some of the housewives, and how they were like acting like they were better because they were in the white suburban area. And I just because, you know, the neighborhood next to you isn't as good does not mean that they don't deserve to, you know, have missing children looked into. Like, what is wrong with people? Anyways. So this book, we're following basically these housewives in the 90s. They have this book club, and then this new guy like moves into town, and there's just something off about him, and one of the housewives thinks that he's a vampire. And in the town like near them, some kids start going missing and stuff, and just this weird stuff starts happening. And so yeah, it's a really good horror book. I really enjoyed it. I have been really enjoying Grady Hendrix's work as I'm trying to read more of his stuff, but that one definitely, like, I was getting pretty mad. I was like, I'm just gonna punch you people. So August is Peridot, and this one pales in comparison to other gems. So it's kind of a pale-ish color, pale green. So we're gonna name a supporting character that we liked more than the main character. So in this one, I'm gonna do Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, and I found our main character Grace in here to just be kind of average. Like, the author really didn't like give her more personality, but like all the other characters in here I feel like had so much personality, and I don't know, it was just like weird and frustrating for me. But basically we're following Grace, and she just finished getting her PhD, and she takes a trip to Vegas to, you know, chill out because she's been in school for forever and she doesn't really know what her next steps are. So she goes with her and a couple of her girlfriends, and she ends up meeting and accidentally getting married to her now wife, Yuki. And so she ends up moving to New York to try and see if she can make things work with this new woman in her life. And I adored her wife. Her wife was spunky and different and fun, and she like had this podcast radio show where she was talking about like different monsters that people would see around New York or something. She'd go like investigate, and like she was super fun. And I don't know, I really enjoyed her character. A lot of like her roommates and stuff were really fun, and Grace's friends. I just didn't find Grace had that much depth in, I don't know, she was in like a very struggling spot where she just didn't know where to go with her life, and she was feeling like she was not getting anywhere because she's a Black woman in a male-dominated work environment and such. So I know that she, you know, maybe she isn't gonna feel super spunky and alive at the moment, but I don't know. I just felt like Yuki just had so much more personality to her. So September is Sapphire, and sapphires are blue like the ocean, and the ocean can be calming. So we're going to talk about a book that was kind of had a calming effect. And for this one, I'm going with House in the Cerulean Sea, which is kind of perfect because we got like a Cerulean Sea ocean vibe going. Anyways, this is by TJ Klune, and I adored this book so much, and I think I've talked about it like probably way too much on my channel because it is one of the cutest books ever. Like, I just love it. We're following Linus, and he is a caseworker for the Department of Magical Youth, I think it is. Something like that. He basically goes to these orphanages where a bunch of magical kids live, and he makes sure that they're being taken care of and that everything's going smoothly and everybody's safe and fed and yada yada. So he ends up getting sent out to this house in the Cerulean Sea. It's like the most top secret, most dangerous kids are on this island with this caretaker, and he's gonna go stay out there for a month and see how things are going. And you just fall in love with these kids and the caretaker. He is just so wonderful to them, and him and Linus kind of have a little like romance that buds up. There's like a booktuber that explained like it's just like serotonin being shot into your body. Like it's like a sunshine happy book where you just like, you love the heck out of every character in it, and it's just so heartwarming, and I adored it. I don't know, my favorite originally was, we have this character, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember his name. I'm so bad with names. But basically he's like this like jelly blob, and he wants to be a bellhop, and I think he's so cute. You also have is it Tolly or something like that? She's like a gnome, a garden gnome, and she like always like teases Linus like, you know, you better watch your back, otherwise I might just hit you with this shovel because you'd be really good fertilizer in my garden. And like oh my goodness, they're so cute. Like when you get to know them, they're not like dangerous, you know? I don't know. It's cute. Anyways, we're going to stop gushing about the House in the Cerulean Sea because we need to get moving through this. And we made it to October, the best month of the entire year. And we've got the Birthstone of Opal, which is iridescent. So it says that you can do like a beautiful cover, like something shiny or lots of colors or something like that, or like a beautiful character that's colorful and quirky or something like that. So for this one, it's not really like iridescent, but I decided to do the Simple Wild series, the 3 books. I really think that the covers are so cute and how they match, but they're like uniquely different, but then also like we see Kala with her hat and all of them, and like the Alaskan background and stuff. And I really enjoy the covers for these, and I really need to get this series because it is so cute and sweet. We follow Jonah and Kala, and basically Kala is estranged from her father who lives in Alaska, and she gets this call that her father isn't doing well, and so she decides to go out there, and she hasn't seen her dad in like 10 years or something like that. And so she goes out there to stay, and she meets Jonah, this grumpy pilot who flies her in and works for her dad's like plane company, not pilot company, that doesn't make sense. But anyways, and then they kind of have a little hate-to-love relationship. So you're following kind of this really cute little hate-to-love relationship happening. Then you're also following Kala kind of reconnecting with her dad and getting to know her dad again, and that relationship as well. And I really enjoyed the series. It was super cute, and I love the covers. So November is Topaz. and we are going to be naming a book that has a character who's very resilient. Topaz is very resilient. So basically a character who rises to the top in a time of adversity. For this one, I went ahead and put in The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. It's the second book in the City of Brass series, and I feel like Nari and Ali, they are facing a lot of adversity as they're trying to kind of unite these two Jin clans and build a hospital in this book, and that can treat both of them, and they're very like separated at the moment, and they don't help each other, and they're always fighting, and there's a lot of tension between all these different tribes and issues going on. And the Deva, they're like purebred Jin basically, and then you have the Shafit have like, they can be like a Jin and a human like mix, and there's just a lot of adversity between the two of them, and Nari and Ali are trying to unify everybody and be able to treat everybody and heal them with a hospital that's for everybody. So that's like really a lot in this world. So if you haven't read this series, super wonderful series. We're following, in the first book, you basically have Nari. She accidentally does this chant in Cairo where she lives and calls a Jin warrior, and he takes her across the desert to the City of Brass, which is where all of the 6 Jin tribes live, and it's kind of like their capital, and she gets kind of thrown into the mix, and she has to like, you're like learning all about their history and everything that's going on, and there's a lot of weird politics stuff going on, and yeah, it's really intense series, and I have just read the second book, and it just like, it was so good. It was so good. So December has Blue Zircon, which is associated with friendship. So we're going to talk about a book that has a friendship group that we would love to be a part of. The first thing that came to mind was Well Met by Jen DeLuca, but I've talked about that quite a bit in their friendship group, so I actually went with one that I read recently, and that's The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. They have a really cute friendship group in here. So in this one, we're following Lucy, and she just found out that her mom's cancer is back, and her world just kind of is tumbling around her, and for the summer, her mom really wants her to go to this camp and be a counselor for all these kids who are struggling with different things, like maybe they have anxiety. There's a teen mom. There's people who have lost a parent or have had parents that had cancer or different stuff like that. So there's a wide variety of different kids at this camp, but she really hits it off with the other counselors, and they kind of form this really sweet friend group that just has fun together, but they're also like very much about like being honest with one another and the highs and lows of their weeks, and they just talk it out every week, and it's just, they're really like just fun. They seem like they're really fun together. Like they dance, they go out, they have fun, but then they're also really sweet, and they talk to each other and they talk things out, and they might like argue about this or that, but then they kind of just like come back together and talk it out, and it just, I really enjoyed their fun friendship group, and they're out camping and roasting marshmallows and enjoying some starlight, and that's all good vibes for me too. So that's that one. So there it is. That is the Birthstones book tag. If you haven't done this one and you want to, then I'm tagging you. Do it. It's a really good one, and I hope you guys had fun, and I will talk to you guys soon.